Today is Wednesday, October 16th, and today I learned that when you're doing something and the scale is increased, it exposes your weaknesses. So basically, I have a couple examples of this. The main example that I kind of got this whole idea from was from my softball. So basically, I've learned in my softball that when you're hitting, right, when the ball is stationary and I'm just hitting it, I can kind of cheat. Like I can get by doing things wrong. But when it's game time and everything is full speed and even faster, my mistakes that I formed the habit of get exposed and they get exaggerated. So that's kind of where this whole idea came from. And basically today at youth group, I was thinking about how this is the same for when you're like, because we're going through James, which is all about like trials and stuff. And I was just thinking about like how that is the same for trials. When the trial is small, you can get by not doing it perfect, not having perfect form or a perfect whatever, perfect solution. But when it's like a bigger, more serious, more impactful trial, then like those things that you did wrong and that you like cheated with get exaggerated. So I guess that's kind of just the whole idea. That things get your mistakes get exaggerated and revealed and exposed when you're doing something at a bigger scale. Or on a bigger, like on the other side, like if you are, like on the other side, like on the higher end, whether that is heavier, faster, bigger, stronger, like whatever the maximum is, your mistakes get exposed when you do that. Like another example is when you're pushing to failure with like working out, your last rep is going to cause the maybe really small, but the really small the really small mistakes that you make that you might not notice in your form when you're doing a rep, those get exaggerated. And you see like, oh wait, I'm actually using that part of my body rather than that part of my body. So like that gets exaggerated. So yeah, I guess those are just a few examples to just show the same thing, which is that when you're doing something, either like mentally, physically, I guess mentally and physically are the only two, but when you're doing something either mentally or physically, your mistakes within that process, within that thing, get exaggerated when you pump up the scale, whether that's size, intensity, time, speed, that kind of thing. So what can we do with this information? Well, for me, what I think is that this is a reason why you, in a way, should sweat the small stuff. Especially in physical things, but in mental things too. Like when you're going through a trial or something. Sweat the small stuff. Like make sure that you're doing it correctly. And make sure that whatever process you're doing it correctly. Because if you miss something or you're doing something wrong and you don't realize it, and then you get to the actual time where you need to do your best, and at that larger scale you mess everything up, then it's all going to fall through. So if you want to make sure that you're performing at your best when you need to perform at your best, you need to make sure that your foundations are solid and that your mistakes are at least minimized. Because you don't, basically I guess what the action point is to just not ignore your small mistakes. Like sometimes when I'm doing a rep, when I'm like working out, I'll be like, it's fine that I'm doing this because it's just one rep or it's just one set or it's just one exercise. But then I realize like, no, I need to actually make sure I have good form on this. So sweat the small stuff and make sure that you're not neglecting any part of your work. Whether this is physical or mental or social or whatever. Make sure you're not neglecting any part of your work. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a perfectionist, because ultimately I don't think perfectionism is necessary. I don't know. I guess what this is making me think is that performing at your highest means you need to cover every base. You need to cover all the parts rather than have one part really good. I guess this is just more of a quality versus quantity kind of thing. But I think in these situations, when you need to perform at something or you need to do something on a large scale, you want to make sure you cover all the bases. Like, you want to make sure you have that coverage rather than the intensity, at least with these kinds of situations. So yeah, that's kind of what I learned today. That's the insight that I learned today and was kind of just trying to figure out today. Yeah, I guess your action point is to just make sure that you cover all the bases. Make sure that you have a widespread, make sure you are covering all the things you need to cover with, whether you're doing something physical like working out or mechanical, whether you're dealing with something mentally or socially or something, anything, really anything. Make sure that you are not neglecting any part of that situation or any part of that problem. Because, like I said, on a bigger scale, on a larger scale, those problems and those mistakes are going to exaggerate and get worse. So, when you're dealing with something, don't neglect anything. Make sure you cover everything. Yeah, that's what I learned today. So yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, then definitely subscribe, because I am posting every single day, daily insights talking about what I learned today and how I'm trying to implement it into my life and how you guys can implement it into yours. So if you want to see those kinds of videos, then definitely subscribe. Your action point for today is to definitely sweat the small stuff and make sure that when you are at a lower intensity, a lower scale, make sure you're covering all the bases. So yeah, if you want to see more videos, then subscribe. If you want to see a video that's specifically recommended for you, like YouTube picked this video out just for you, then click in this corner, because that's what that's going to be. And yeah, check out my channel to binge the rest of my videos. If you subscribe, then I'll see you tomorrow.